Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of our More Than Market series. My name is June Zimmer, Vice President of ESG Advisory at NEI Investments. As many of you know, on March 16th, we published our 2022 focus list, a guide to our ESG themes and the companies we're talking to this year. This year, we are focusing on 4 themes: human rights, inequality, net zero, and for the first time, biodiversity. Through our focus list and corporate engagement work, our goal is to protect shareholder value while influencing accountability to all stakeholders. We believe the most effective way to achieve that goal is by exercising our rights as shareholders using 3 powerful tools: corporate engagement, proxy voting, and shareholder proposals. These tools are the building blocks of our active ownership program, sometimes also referred to as our corporate engagement program. We talk directly with companies, alerting them to the environmental, social, or governance risks they may face. We encourage them to improve their ESG performance, and where possible, we influence how they are run. Earlier this month, we made a decision to divest of all Russian sovereign debt, bonds, or equities issued by Russian domiciled companies. And through our corporate engagement work, we are working to influence companies that operate in Russia or have other economic interests there to publicly align with international efforts to maximize economic pressure on Russia, such as by pausing or ending their involvement in the country. In alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, let's get into our focus list themes for this year. The first theme is that of human rights. Human rights are the backbone of our society and underpin our perspectives on fairness and equity. So it should be no surprise the topic remains a central theme of our engagement work this year. Businesses benefit from operating in markets where human rights are respected, and they too have their role to play in ensuring those rights are upheld. As a responsible investor at NEI, it's our role to embed respect for human rights into our investment approach and to ensure that our expectations of companies are clear. There are 2 sub-themes that will center many of our dialogues around human rights this year. The first being human rights in the supply chain, and the second is focused on digital rights. Our second focus list theme this year is that of inequality. We have long considered the implications of systemic inequality on communities, the workforce, and the business landscape. We will continue to prioritize the issue in our dialogues this year. Workers continue to demand more from their employers on issues such as fair wages and health and safety. Those calls are increasingly supported by other stakeholders in society, including customers and investors, which makes them harder for companies to ignore. Our engagements this year on the inequality front will take place across 4 sub-themes: human capital, diversity, equity, and inclusion, equitable compensation, and equitable access. In terms of net zero, 2021 was a momentous year for the fight against climate change. We anticipate that 2022 will be yet another year of significant change. Therefore, the energy transition and net zero ambitions will be core to our engagement activities once again. In 2021, we published our climate strategy, which represents our commitment to leverage our investment portfolio to help meet the global goal of net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Climate-related disclosure will continue to be a foundational element of our engagements, centered this year around 2 key sub-themes: net zero commitments and transition plans, and circularity. The 4th focus list theme for us this year is a new addition from previous years, but one of great importance nonetheless, which is that of biodiversity. As we head into 2022, the imperative to address biodiversity loss and move to reverse it has only quickened. We identified biodiversity loss last year as a rising systemic risk. We noted that we needed a better understanding of the implications of biodiversity loss in society and within our portfolio to determine how we could drive the greatest impact. It has become clear that biodiversity loss is a systemic risk on par with climate change, and the 2 are inextricably linked. Accelerating climate change will increase biodiversity losses, and increased biodiversity loss will hinder our ability to mitigate climate risks. The importance of this connection was made clear at COP26, where increased support for the Leaders' Pledge for Biodiversity and the announcement of the Glasgow Leaders' Declaration on Forests and Land Use were key outcomes of the summit. According to a 2020 report by the World Economic Forum, biodiversity loss is not just an ecosystem risk. Over half the global economy is highly or moderately dependent on nature. Declining biodiversity on land or in the water threatens the very foundation of the global economy. We have therefore elevated biodiversity to be a major theme of our engagement work in 2022 with two sub-themes: impact and dependency assessment and deforestation. NEI has been committed to responsible investing for more than 35 years. It's how we help our clients achieve their financial goals while at the same time improving society and the environment. It's how we reduce investment risk and identify opportunities. It's how we make an impact. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you found today's active ownership discussion helpful. Make sure to review the focus list and reach out to your NEI representative if you have any questions or are looking for ideas on how to use it with your clients. As always, watch for our next week's edition of More Than the Market series. Thank you, everybody, and stay well.